Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning into News 9 Live. At least 512 people, including civilians and combatants, have been killed in the African country of Sudan, with another 4,200 wounded, according to health officials. Fighting has intensified in Sudan's war-ravaged province of Darfur during a fragile three-day truce between the country's battling top generals, killing an estimated dozens of people and residents. Meanwhile, India's Operation Kaveri. Under that operation, India has evacuated the 10th batch of its nationals from Port Sudan and brought them to Saudi city of Jeddah, according to the Ministry of External Affairs. It said on Friday that as New Delhi continued Operation Kaveri in the strife-torn African nation, under this rescue mission, India is taking out evacuees from Sudan amid the ongoing conflict between the regular army and a paramilitary force. India has set up a transit facility at Jeddah, and the Minister of State for External Affairs, V. Muralidharan, is overseeing the entire evacuation process, the mission from the Saudi Arabian city. As per the Ministry of External Affairs, the 8th, 9th and the 10th batches of stranded Indians have left Sudan for Jeddah. Tweets on your screens. Spokesperson for the Ministry of External Affairs, Arindam Bagchi over there, confirming the 10th batch that has now left Sudan. A daring rescue, calls it V. Muralidharan. 8th batch of 121 Indians that arrived at Jeddah by an Indian Air Force C-130J from Wadi Sayedna in Sudan. This evacuation was more complex as the location is in the vicinity of Khartoum. Family members of our embassy officials were also part of this group. A warm welcome is what the MOS tweeted. Now, the center estimates that approximately 3,500 Indian nationals and about 1,000 odd people of Indian origin are in Sudan. Furthermore, as soon as the conflict broke out, the Ministry of External Affairs set up a 24/7 control room right on the 3rd floor of the MEA building. That control room continues to run 24/7 and will continue to do so till India has overcome the current situation and resolved it completely. The 72-hour ceasefire had brought a significant easing of fighting in Khartoum and its neighboring city Omdurman for the first time since the military and a rival paramilitary force began clashing on the 15th of April. Foreign nationals, diplomats and other evacuees arrived at Port Sudan on Thursday as the end of a truce between Sudan's warring generals approached. Meanwhile, let's quickly take a look at some reactions that are coming across from repatriated Indians, from smiles to sighs of relief. What all are they saying? Let's quickly take a look.
मैं अपना मोदी सर से जो ऑपरेशन कावेरी का तरफ से जो किए थे उसी हिसाब से हम लोग सब निकल के आए हैं और हम अभी उड़ीसा आए 6 आदमी आए, बाकी का आदमी बहुत है पीछे। और मैं थैंक्स जनाऊंगा कि मोदी जी को और उनका पूरा टीम को। 3 सेना भी पूरा लग गए थे हम लोग को निकालने के लिए, वायुसेना, स्थल सेना और जल सेना, ये तीनों सेना लग के हम लोग को उद्धार किए हैं।
पोर्ट सुडान में एक स्कूल है, वो स्कूल में हम लोग को रखा जाता है। उन लोग को हम लोग को खाना पीना भी थोड़ा बहुत दिया था और नहाने के लिए प्लेस दिया था। और उसका बाद हम लोग को नेवी आके रिसीव किया था। नेवी आके रिसीव किया था। हम लोग नेवी में आके, नेवी जो जहाज गया था उसमें आके हम लोग जाधा में पहुंचा था, सऊदी अरब जाधा में।
As part of our efforts, 2 C-130 aircraft of Indian Air Force have been mobilized and are constantly positioned in Jeddah, have been there since 19th of April. We also set up a control room in Jeddah and a control room in Port Sudan. So we have 2 control rooms working along with our embassy. So there's a full triangulation of efforts between control room in Jeddah through our consulate and mission in Riyadh, through the control room team in Port Sudan, which is the northeastern coast of Sudan, and our embassy in Khartoum city. And of course, each of these 3 hubs are coordinating their efforts and direction to bring back the stranded Indians with the headquarters in Delhi.
Meanwhile, rival factions of Sudan's military have agreed to renew a 3-day ceasefire shortly before it was due to expire. The extension for another 72 hours follows intensive diplomatic efforts by neighboring countries as well as the US, UK and the United Nations. But there are continuing reports of heavy fighting in the capital Khartoum. The previous truce allowed thousands of people to attempt to flee to safety, while dozens of countries have tried to evacuate their citizens. Almost 2 weeks of fighting between the army and a rival paramilitary group have left hundreds of people dead. The ceasefire had been expected to end at midnight local time. Now, early on Thursday evening, the Sudanese regular army agreed to an extension, and its rival, the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, followed suit just hours later. But take a look at this. This is what the Sudanese people are going through at this point in time. Taking advantage of the relative calm, many residents in Khartoum and the neighboring city of Omdurman emerged from their homes to seek food and water, lining up at bakeries or grocery stores after days of being trapped inside by the fighting between the army and the RSF. Some inspected shops or homes that had been destroyed or looted. But people are helpless in Sudan. There is no fuel, there is no bread or water for so many of these Sudanese people, fleeing the violence in their country, having been blocked from basic amenities. The violence in their country has urged them to move to safety. Families have been sleeping outside in the desert, waiting to be let into Egypt. Buses are also lining up at the crossing. Yet, gunfire and explosions can be heard in the city, though residents have said clashes are now more limited in pockets mainly around the military's headquarters and the Republican Palace in central Khartoum and around bases in Omdurman across the Nile River.